My name is King David Perez, and this is my gym.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm amazing. How about you?
Doing pretty good.
There we go. There we go. You got a fight coming up. You excited about it?
Yeah, really excited about it.
I promise I won't be this crazy when we actually do this, but I just got to get the sound right. Keep talking.
I got you.
Nice. Okay, we'll stop there. You got the headphones on. Let's play it back. Okay. All right. We're good. All right. Test last time. 3-3. 3-3. Test. Feeling good. All right. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Prior to the Snap. I'm your host, Sheldon Pryor, and today we're starting our special interview series. Very first is going to be an amazing interview with a gentleman named David, King David Perez. But before I get too deep in, let me give some quick thank yous. First off, thank you to everybody out there that's listening on EPH 511, listening out there on the stream. Everybody out there listening on 105.7 out there in beautiful western Oklahoma, 50,000 watts pumping out that tower in Alva, Oklahoma. You know we got love for our friends out there, Sealing, western Oklahoma, Yukon, Mustang, Alva. The list just goes on and on. Thank you guys so much as always for listening. Don't forget that you can always download us in all of the usual places. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. You can ask your Alexa-enabled device to play us via TuneIn. Just say, Alexa, play Prior to the Snap podcast on TuneIn. So, let's get down to the meat and potatoes here today as we're going to talk to David, King David Perez. Welcome to the show, brother. It's great to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you. So I have a ton of questions that I want to ask you. I want to say, I put you up on Facebook, just as some promo material for this, and I had a lot of people that were super excited. I had a couple people that were like, I think I know that guy. I think I've seen him fight. So I love the fact that he created buzz, that people knew who you were. So you're from this area, or from here in Oklahoma, rather, correct?
I'm from here. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma, but I did live here for about 1.5 years, close to 2 years of Coach B here.
Excellent. I think the first question I have to ask you is what got you into boxing? What drew you to the sport?
Man, it's crazy. I mean, how I got into boxing, I literally just met a friend. I went on a date to the state fair, and she happened to bring a friend. And she brought a date, and that date became my best friend. His name's Angel Mora. He got me into boxing.
That's actually an amazing story.
Yeah,
see,
it's pretty,
so that sounds like that was like destiny, you know?
It was so random.
Yeah.
But, I knew as soon as I went to go try it out that it's what I wanted to do. I mean, I just love the competitiveness of it, so I just sticked with it.
I love it. Let me ask you this. By that description, what drives you in this sport? What drives you in boxing?
Honestly, I just feel like the feeling of winning, like to me, just the self-improvement, the aspects I've seen of myself improve, that doesn't come from just being in the ring. Like I've told people just recently, actually, because they asked me, they're like, why'd you get into boxing, or how were you before boxing? And something that I didn't realize that happened during the process of my career was just self-confidence. I feel like when I first started boxing, when I was like 14, 15 years old, I feel like I was a little bit insecure, and I didn't do this for those reasons. But as years went by, I didn't realize, but I just ended up building this self-confidence. So I would definitely say that's a great attribute that I've gained from boxing.
It's outstanding. Let me ask you this. Where did the name King David come from? Obviously, it sounds like a biblical reference, and when I first heard it, I was like, man, King David Perez. Like, what a powerful name. What made you pick that?
I didn't pick it. My coach did.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay,
Coach B
okay.
gave me that name.
Okay.
Back in like 2016, he gave me the name King David and sketched out the whole little logo for my shirts, my merch, and all that, and I've stuck by it ever since.
I tell you what, if you don't mind too, before we end today, I want you to make sure that you tell people where they can find your merch, be it at your next bout or online, but I want to make sure that people are able to get that stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Now, let me ask you this. How would you describe the boxing scene in Tulsa, Oklahoma? I know during my research, I saw it looks like you've been boxing for about 13 years, and I'm assuming that you've seen many changes in the boxing scene, heck, and just combat sports in general over the years. So what kind of maturation have you seen in the product itself?
Well, I mean, as far as Tulsa, like I want to say, like Oklahoma in general, I don't think it was ever a big boxing state. I definitely think it's been growing with different people in different areas trying to grow the scenery. Bring more shows to Tulsa. You've been seeing a lot of pro shows starting to come. But I mean, I wouldn't definitely say that it's a boxing state quite yet, but we're definitely on a rise up. I know when I first started as an amateur, there was probably more activity as far as like amateur bouts and shows going on and more gyms being active. But if anything, I feel like there's more individuals making more noise than I would say is the whole population. It's not big for boxing, but I do think it's going to grow in the near future.
That's outstanding. I love it. I love it. Okay. I hope we get to see just that continued explosive growth in boxing. It's absolutely awesome. Here's a more interesting question, and please be as robust as you'd like on this answer. If you could watch any boxing match in history in person, you can go back as far as you want, whenever you want. Which bout would you choose to watch and why?
Well, bout. Man, there's a lot that I've watched online just because I was never in the sport or probably not even alive to see. But I would say for the most part, I watch more recent boxing. That's more what I'm a big fan of. Anything from like 2006 and up. But if I was to watch a fight, these guys weren't my favorite boxers, but because of how grueling it was, I would like to watch that live, that fight with Timothy Bradley and Ruslan Provodnica, because it was just an all-out slugfest. I mean, that was like a grueling matchup. I mean, blood everywhere, cuts everywhere. I mean, I just think that would have been super entertaining to see in person. But
a literal battle of attrition.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I love to use the phrase, the irresistible force meets the immovable object, and I feel like that's probably a pretty good analogy of just a knockdown, drag-out fight like that. That's an outstanding choice. How about this? What boxer do you think that you emulate and do you think has had the most profound effect on you?
Emulate? I don't know if there would be like one exact boxer that like I'm trying to emulate. For the most part, like for example, like when people ask me who my favorite boxer is, and I tell them my favorite boxer is Manny Pacquiao, and they ask me why, and I tell them it's not because I box like him. I'm not even southpaw. I said my favorite boxer to me is because of what he does outside of the boxing ring and how he is and how he carries himself. So that's why he's my favorite boxer. But I wouldn't say there's anyone that I particularly try to emulate. But I definitely do like watching certain boxers and trying to pick things up off of them. For example, I mean, like I said, I watch most recent boxing, and well, there's a lot of guys that I got to like to see that are super technical, probably more technical than me, but I like how they get away with the things they do. And we got that upcoming guy. I mean, he's a world champion now. That Jaron Ennis guy is super cool. We box nothing alike, but I do like to watch him because he does a little bit of everything. So if you're able to pick up anything from anyone, it'd be like versatility, changing up how you do things. But I wouldn't say that I box like him. That guy is he's a pretty complete fighter, and I feel like I'm still on my way, adding more and more tools to myself. I'm not a finished product, but once I get there, I'm sure I'll be happy with myself.
The fact that you're humble enough to admit that you're still putting tools into your toolbox, I think says a lot about your respect for the sport and the respect for yourself and how much your hunger, if you will, to learn and get better. I really, really respect that. That's outstanding.
No, thank you so much. Thank you.
Let me ask you this, and this is kind of a loaded question. I talk to people about something that I like to call accidental mentorship, okay? We don't realize sometimes when people are watching us, when they're seeing us, maybe you're at a fight, maybe there's a kid that's been to a couple of your fights, they've watched you, they've seen how you move, how you carry yourself, etc. What do you hope that a young person, a teen, or just any person that watches you, that looks up to you as a mentor, but you don't know it, what do you hope that they gain from you?
I hope they gain just like, honestly, if I was to name a few, just be a few attributes, I hope they gain the overall values of hard work, consistency, and just having drive. Because I feel like a lot of that is lacking in today's community. I mean, especially people my age or anybody younger than me, coming up. I feel like a lot of times they don't have a purpose. And when you don't have a purpose, you're just existing. And that's something I remember Coach P told me is you don't ever just want to be existing. You want to have a purpose. You want to have something to carry out because that's going to push you every day to do something. And when you're just existing, I mean, you fought a temptation. You fought distractions and all this bad stuff that goes on in life nowadays. So if anything, I would say I hope they get the sense of hard work, drive, and purpose.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. What advice would you give someone who is interested in going into boxing? Someone that is green, let's say it's a young person. Let me scratch that question. If you could go back to you that was at the fair, and if you could talk to that you, what advice would you give that you about boxing and the future and what's ahead? How would you have that conversation?
I'd probably tell myself that more than anything that not just to work hard, because I know that's the best attribute I've ever had is I'm a workhorse and I work hard. But I would probably tell myself to be prepared to be mentally strong, because boxing is far more than just physical work, physical labor. I think you have to be mentally strong more than anything, because life comes at you as you're trying to pursue this dream, and nothing beats life. Life has to be the toughest opponent, and if you're not mentally strong, then you'll fall to temptation, you'll be distracted, and man, I've seen too many guys with talent end up at the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people, and I would say being mentally strong, being able to say no, to make better decisions, because I know myself, I fight with myself every day trying to make the best decisions to get the best outcome for my future, and it's a struggle, and I feel like I'm a very disciplined guy, but we all struggle, and we all have those little procrastination moments, and we're human. But overall, be mentally strong, David, because this sport's about to push you more than you ever thought.
That's outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Here's what I want. I want to open up the floor to you. And I want you to basically anything that you want to talk about, from where people can get merch to just anything that you want to say right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as the merch thing, I got merch sold at my gym at the Engine Room in Tulsa. You can always look me up on like social medias, on Instagram at Team King David. Shoot me a message. I've had a few people ask me for merch, and I ship them out. T-shirts or hoodies or anything like that, and hopefully in the future I have more. I'm still growing as a person, as an athlete, so the more success I make in the ring, the more success I'll make outside of it. So if you guys ever want to get a hold of me, ask me any questions, just reach out to me on Facebook at David Perez or Instagram at Team King David.
Perfect. Team King David, that is, right?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. I need to get your information because I want to make sure that I share your socials over on Prior to the Snap.
Yes, sir.
I have a final question. If you could send a message to the world, not just about boxing, in general, if you could send a message to the world right now about anything, what would it be?
I could send a message to the world right now.
Anything that's on your heart, whatever it is.
Honestly, if I could send a message to the world right now, I'd probably be like, set an example. I mean, be an example, because I see too much going on just at my town in Tulsa. I see all these kids that are 13, 14, 15 years old committing all these crazy crimes and stealing cars. I mean, just like within the past 3 months, it's crazy to me to see what the youth are doing nowadays, because even though I wasn't always in the right place at the wrong time, I still always had a good control of making my decisions no matter who I've had around. If I've ever did something, I guess remotely wrong, it never costed me, and it never took a big role in my life. So for the most part, it's being an example, setting an example, because you never know who's watching. Life's too dangerous right now. Life goes by so fast, and I see all these kids just fall into the wrong things, and especially at the age that I just spoke, in your teens, you're easily influenced by your older friends and the stuff you see online, the music you listen to. So be an example more than anything.
That's absolutely amazing. Couldn't have said that better. Thank you so much for taking the time to come out here to talk to us. I think there's one more piece of business that we've not talked about, though. You have an upcoming bout.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to need you to put out all that information, where folks can get tickets, where this bout is at. Tell us all about it.
Okay, well, yeah, I got an upcoming fight. I'm super excited. This is probably going to be the pinnacle of my career so far. I'm finally getting my television debut. I've always imagined this to myself, that I was going to, make it on TV, but not only just make it on TV, but be victorious on TV. So you'll be able to see me on April 26th, live on DAZN in Orlando, Florida. I'll be fighting on Most Valuable Promotions. As most people know, that's Jake Paul's promotion. So it's a good look to get myself out there and introduce who David Perez is to the world. So yeah, if you guys want to get tickets, I believe you can go on Most Valuable Promotions' website. You can also, I'm sure you can go on StubHub and find tickets for that. But if you can't make it out, I hope you guys tune in. It'll be the first television opener on April 26th in Orlando, Florida.
And what's the channel again?
It's going to be DAZN, DAZN. That's a new channel. It's like a new platform network that they have going on, where most of the fights are streamed on. So yeah, you guys get that monthly subscription and be able to catch all the action on there.
Excellent. Outstanding. Thank you so much. It has been an absolute honor and a pleasure to get to sit down and have this time today with King David Perez. And folks, I appreciate everybody out there, EPH 511, you guys are listening out there on the stream, 105.7 out there in Western Oklahoma. Everybody out there listening via iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all of the other places we are available. Thank you all so much for my man, King David Perez, and Sean Pryor of Prior to the Snap. We're signing out.